So yeah, so please write down that information. That's my personal information right there, 404-513-5677. Email Luther at Platinum Real Estate. Personal site, LutherRagsdale.com. Corporate site, PlatinumRealEstate.com. Let me get this together here. Also, you guys, we do have career opportunities here at Platinum Real Estate. So if you are not a licensed agent with Platinum Real Estate, I would love to personally talk to you about career opportunities with our company. We have an excellent coaching plan, one-on-one coaching plan. I will personally coach you to success. I believe no two real estate agents should ever have the same plan. Everybody have different weaknesses. Everybody have different strengths. So we believe in one-on-one coaching. We help you develop a plan, and then I am here for you to help you carry through that plan. We also have a 100% plan. Now, you're probably saying, Luther, what's the difference? The coaching plan is for an agent who says, Luther, I want to make more money. I want to take my career to the next level. Maybe I'm freshly new out of real estate school, or maybe I'm making $100,000 a year, but I want to make $200,000 a year. Or maybe I'm making 50 or 60 grand and I want to make 100 grand. But coaching is for that agent who says, I need a plan. I want to take my career to the next level. That's what coaching is all about, giving you a plan, showing you how you can take your plan to the next level. We also have the 100% program. That's for agents who say, Luther, hey, look, I'm making 100 grand, I'm making 200 grand. I'm satisfied with my business. I'm satisfied with my income. I just want to receive 100% of my commission on each and every deal. Because at Platinum Real Estate, we do have a 100% program. If you're interested in talking to us, please contact us, 404-994-4600. You can call or text that number, 404-994-4600, or shoot us an email, careers@platinumrealestate.com. That is careers@platinumrealestate.com. At Platinum Real Estate, you know we own our own real estate school. We believe in training. We have quality training each and every week. Every Tuesday at 8:30, my real estate agents have a live coaching online webinar with me. It's live every Tuesday morning at 8:30. You receive quality information letting you know, hey, this is what you should do the next week to be successful. So if you're interested in Platinum Real Estate, give us a call, 404-994-4600, or shoot us an email, careers@platinumrealestate.com. So today, the United States government have some 100% programs out there. They have some 100% options out there. So you guys know we have preferred vendors at Platinum Real Estate. And we have one that's going to be doing the presentation today, Miss Tamara Burch. Her information is right there on the screen, and I will repeat it for everybody. The best way to catch her is via cell phone, 770-896-5001. 770-896-5001. Tamara Burch is a very, very great vendor with our program. I love her as the broker of the firm. Agents call me all of the time with a lot of different information, questions, etc. And sometimes agents run into problems with different lenders. And I will tell you, we never have a problem with Tamara Burch. Matter of fact, I have a lot of situations where there's agents who will, the buyer is pre-approved before we meet them, so they're using some other lender, and that lender ends up not being as professional, or not being as educated, or not having the knowledge that we would like. So the deal gets messed up. And I wish I had $1 for every time I would then bring Tamara in and it would end up closing. So you guys, I know, hey, Platinum agents, I know you guys know Tamara. We have a lot of agents on the webinar today, so I know some of you guys might not be with Tamara. But whether you're with Platinum, not with Platinum, I highly recommend for all of your financing needs, Tamara Burch is the one that will take care of it for you. Let me give you her cell phone number once again, 770-896-5001. 770-896-5001. Miss Tamara Burch. So let's jump right in here. Miss Burch. Let me see here. She should be, let me see if I have her.
Let's try that again. How's that?
There you go. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing today?
Good, good, good. Good to have you as always. So what are we talking about? We're talking about some government programs, 100% financing. You know, Tamara, we love it when we hear 100% financing. Look, take it over. It's all yours. Tell us what's going on with this thing.
Okay, so I would say a lot of agents, when I talk to them and we start talking about USDA, it's because they've never heard of it, or they haven't used it, or maybe it's not in their area, but they have a buyer and they're saying, hey, wait a minute, we're heading outside, now we could potentially do this. How do I do or help these particular customers? So having the knowledge to do that is real important. So we're going to spend a little bit of time today talking about this program, and the realtors that are in these areas that have these listings, they're very familiar with it. They welcome loans being in this particular type program. Their listings, they don't have a problem selling them this way. A lot of their listings are sold this way. So just kind of having this in the back of your mind that this is available to you. You know, places like Cartersville, that's USDA. Go a little bit south beyond McDonough, that's USDA. So it is very similar in some ways to VA loans. So we're going to kind of touch base on some of these pieces, parts to it, and you'll find, wow, these are some great type program where maybe you want to do some marketing in these areas, you know, and not be worried about your buyers having the cash to close during these, you know, difficult times. The buyers in these USDA areas, they're buying. They don't need a down payment. So the number one benefit, no down payment. Okay, sellers can pay up to 6% of their closing costs. That's huge. And in those particular areas, I see more seller concessions than in some other areas. So that is absolutely a possibility that they are going to go ahead and pay that closing costs. Maybe they won't pay 6, maybe they'll pay 5, maybe they'll pay 4, but they're going to pay typically more than I would see in some of the other areas. So don't be surprised when they agree to do that for you, okay? And I am making a little noise. I'm apologizing. Apparently, my computer is about ready to die. So if you just give me, there we go, 10 seconds there, we'll get that charging. So, and in addition to that, gift funds are allowed. So I'll typically see a lot of these customers, maybe they put $500, $1,000 in earnest money down, and then we're giving them a check back at closing, very similar to my VA customers, as I'm a VA expert. So I always try to work it out where they can hold on to as much money as possible when they get into these homes, so that they have a reserve account. They know that they're going to be able to stay there long term. If they need to, they can look back at that reserve account. So anytime we can have the sellers pay closing costs, get 100%, this is a win-win-win. Win-win-win. Luther, do you have any questions on this part before we move on to the next section?
Well, no, I think, listen, and let's just clarify just a couple of things for everybody. So USDA is more for, you mentioned Cartersville, you mentioned a couple of other areas. So is that like more rural type of stuff with the USDA?
It is definitely more rural, but when I think of places like Cartersville as an example, I would not consider Cartersville rural, because it's growing by leaps and bounds. What it is more how many people live in those areas. So could you use this in downtown Atlanta? No, you could not. That's not what this program is for. But a lot of people, when they think rural, they kind of think farm area, and that is not what this is about. It is more than farm area. So you are able to use it in some areas where realtors will call me and they're surprised when I say, hey, did you think about USDA on this particular one? Because they would not have necessarily thought about it on it.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And I think that's great information. And from a real estate broker standpoint, this is what I would tell my agents. Look, it's 100% financing. That's great. Seller concessions up to 6%. You cannot beat that. And here's a big one. Gift funds is allowed. I am loving it. And I'm sure you're going to talk about this on some of the upcoming slides. But low to moderate income, hey, I'll take that too, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, agents, we need to start marketing in these areas because this is a win-win-win type of deal. So yes, absolutely excellent program, great job.
So the call I get a lot is where is the lines? Where are the lines drawn on how to know if this could be USDA? So, and a lot of times I tell people to go to this website. You could just type in Google USDA map, and then it's going to take you to this long thing. So don't feel like you have to write it down. Go to Google, type in USDA map. I put it on there because sometimes people see SC and think South Carolina. No, that's just the URL there. So you can go in there, and if you don't put an address in, do not put an address in, you can expand it out and instantly see in Georgia where the areas are. And you're going to be surprised, a majority of Georgia, it's available. A majority. No, it is not available in downtown Atlanta, if that's where you are. Of course it's not. It's not available in Cobb. Why? Lots of people in those areas. But if you expand out, you can see a zone where maybe it's still close to where you are, and you could start marketing in those particular areas. And you're looking at borrowers who are going to qualify. So you will then be able to see the actual locations of where you want to go. Now, you find an actual house because it's very, very close to the area where the line is. When you put an actual address in there, it's going to say yes or no. So if it's into the orange zone, we're going to be no. So that'll allow you to go in and kind of play around and see where you're wanting to market and say, hey, you know what? I'm really not that far from Cartersville. I'm really not that far from McDonough. If I market just below McDonough, I can, sell these properties and do 100% financing for my people. So, take a moment and go look at that information. You're going to be surprised where they are. Okay, so let's move on. These are the questions I get a lot. So I'm going to answer these, but I'm going to expand on these. And then, of course, we have another slide behind this that I've got some little tweaks in there for you. So 100% financing. U.S. citizens predominantly, or they've got a card to be here. This is for primary only. If you're calling me and saying I want 100% financing on investment or my second lake home, because a lot of lake homes qualify, the answer is no. This is a primary property. Okay. I've had people call me and they have $100,000 in the bank account. You have $100,000 in the bank account, we're not going to qualify. It is not for somebody with tons of assets. That is a conventional Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan. That is not a borrower who is going to go the route of USDA. Okay. So you see the word GUS there. That's the same as you may have heard DU or DO or LP when approving an FHA, a VA, a Fannie, a Freddie. USDA has their own approval. They have a GUS approval. So what we're saying here is it has to be approved. If it comes back not approved or ineligible, then it cannot go forward. There's no manual underwriting for this right now. We are going to look at the last 36 months of credit history predominantly. That's what we're looking at. That's what GUS is looking at. It's not looking for major credit problems in the last 36 months. And we also have a minimum trade line. When we're looking at that credit, we're going to be looking at the trade lines, meaning we're looking for two. So, you know, one of the credit I ran yesterday, they had one account total last 10 years. Well, that isn't going to qualify. Okay. 2 trade lines, 12 months. Okay. 640 credit score, not seeing approvals below 640. So you're looking for a good borrower, going to make sense to them, 640 credit score. Now there is a 3-year waiting period for foreclosure, but I will tell you one of the little tricks with GUS is if their foreclosure was a USDA property and it was in the last 7 years, they don't say it, but it's almost a challenge to get that approved through GUS. So a lot of times I will ask them, what type of foreclosure did you have? Was it FHA? Was it VA? Was it USDA? If it was a USDA property, I'm probably pushing them more towards FHA. Now, I'll try to run it through GUS for you, of course. We want to always do the best we possibly can for our customers, but most likely it's not going to come back approved. So that's one of the little tweaks there. Bankruptcy is 3 years. So maybe we get a customer who calls us and they're 3 years from a bankruptcy. They're only 2 years from a bankruptcy instead of 3. We're probably going to be looking at FHA. It's about knowing all the programs that are out there so that we can make an informed decision on how to help that borrower still get approved. Maybe they're not right for USDA, but we could look at maybe an FHA, or maybe they're only a month away. Then let's wait the month and still get them the USDA with 100%. We all know they get out there, they look at that house, mom and dad comes look at that house, all of a sudden they have their down payment, right? We've all seen that many times. No federal judgments, no delinquents on taxes, okay? These have to be paid prior. Okay, no delinquencies. That's going to also go, I know the first question I'll get is, does that mean student loans too that are delinquent? Yes, they need to get those student loans reaffirmed. That's a federal debt. Just like any of the other programs, you're not closing if you're in default on a federal debt. And then no disputes. We don't count disputes if they're under 500. If they have disputes over 500, then we're going to go ahead and require the dispute to be removed. And if you're listening to this part, the disputes that when somebody disputes that on credit, in case you didn't know, it's affecting their credit score. It's actually raising their scores. So it looks like they have a higher score than they do typically. So the minute the dispute is removed on a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 account that's in collection, their credit scores instantly go down. So that's the main reason. So there's a why behind that. That's the main reason disputes have to be removed for all lending, because they're affecting their scores. Now, USDA is one of the few that'll allow a balance. FHA doesn't allow a balance at all. So it's very important to know that. I do want to stay on the screen for a minute. I think we may have some questions. This was a lot of information, even though I kind of expanded on it a little bit. I think it would be good to kind of stop here and answer some questions.
Yes, now questions. If you have a question, you can shoot your question through the chat, or you can shoot your question through the Q&A section. Again, shoot some questions, and I see some questions are coming up. Let me see what we have here. Tamara, do they have to pay MIP with this loan?
That's a great question. Fantastic question. Actually, why would someone pick FHA over USDA at the same time? So answering this question, here comes the answer. They're going to pick USDA over FHA because, as we know, when you're filling out the FHA portion, you put 1.75 up front added to the loan, right? Well, USDA is only 1%. So that's a 0.75 savings. And on a large loan, that's a considerable amount. Also on FHA, we have the monthly, right? 0.85 is what they're being charged on that, where under USDA, it's 0.55. So you're going to save even more money monthly as well as the upfront PMI. So it's much better. So that's why people and listing agents in USDA areas, they know they're getting contracts on this because it's 100% financing, and the mortgage insurance is much cheaper on this program.
Wow, nice. Now, I have a question here. You pointed out that USDA is going to look at the last 36 months credit is reviewed. Is that typical? FHA, how far do they go back? VA, how far do they go back? Is everybody going back 36 months, or is USDA going back a little further, or not as long? Why is it 36 months?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a fantastic question. So typically, for example, and then we can flow it into USDA, FHA is looking at really solid the last 2 years. They're looking for what they call major delinquencies. And major delinquencies are going to be houses and cars, judgments, collections in the last 2 years. They're looking for no more than 1 times 30-day late on a mortgage history in the last 12 and 2 times 30 in the last 24. They're also looking at that installment debt, 1 times 30, and then in the last year, 2 times 30 in the last 2 years. Well, USDA is taking it a bit farther. They're looking at the whole 3-year period versus 2 years. You had a bunch of late payments 3 years ago, or less than, more than 2, but less than 3. We're probably going to be looking at an FHA situation and not a USDA situation, since they are going to be a little bit more strict on that. VA is really more, what did we do in the last 12 months? That's VA. So, and Fannie, we all know Fannie, right? Fannie, Freddie, conventional, they're looking at the whole 7-year picture. They want the whole 7-year picture going on there. So that's an excellent question. So again, it's looking at the borrower and knowing the products to determine which route to go. So if there's something we can fix, we're going to fix it. That is one thing I do all the time. I have a borrower getting ready to sign a contract today, and she's only 3 points off of getting a better rate. So besides just getting her approved, I'm going to give advice and say, listen, you can get a better program if you just pay your credit card down $150. So the answering that question is, basically, we need to look at the whole picture for each product.
And I think that's very important to know as well. And as real estate agents, and I tell my agents all the time, we do not want to become lenders. We don't want to become bankers. We do not want to get into that business. We just want to take the clients, send them to you, and allow you to then do your job, because that's what you do best. Now, another question that I have here, 2 trade lines required for 12 months. Is everybody doing two trade lines? And give us examples of what exactly is a trade line.
So not everybody does 2 trade lines. So if you have a really high score and you have assets, it's probably going to go through FHA. It probably will go through Fannie or Freddie. If you have a super low score, you have no assets, and you have no trade lines, you got the trifecta. That's not going to go through. That's not going to happen. So you're going to want to look at the picture of where are we on an overall picture. So one trade line is not enough history. I informed a customer today that their one trade line that they had was not getting approved through FHA, and to be added as an authorized user to a couple of credit cards real quick so that we could go ahead and increase their ability to get this done. And typically that will happen if you get those authorized users on the car. Those show up within about 30 days, and then we can be able to help them. And it's about looking at the picture and then giving the right advice so we can help your customer move as quickly as possible.
Okay, I have a question here. Someone says, Tamara, what is considered a high score?
Typically, a high score will depend on the type of program you're going with. So very, very good question. For Fannie and Freddie conventional, they're really looking for 720. That's what they want. Now, will they go down to 620? Do I do loans at 620 during COVID? I do. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do 90% on a jumbo right now. I know the jumbo market's almost gone. I still have my 90. So, but the difference between conventional at 620 and 720 is a big deal. You end up with a higher mortgage insurance. You end up with a higher interest rate because Fannie's going to issue a higher rate on it. So 720 is Fannie Freddie's favorite. Okay, but we're going to go to 620. FHA really wants to see 640. They go down lower. Currently during COVID, we are not going lower. We will probably have that back soon, but we don't currently. And then VA also likes to see 640, but we go lower. We'll go to 600, but you have to be able to get an approved eligible. And then a USDA, as you see there, is 640. So they all have their minimums, but you still have to get an approved eligible, meaning they are approved through the DO, LP, GUS, whatever system it is, in order to be able to close. Now, if I don't get it, I will give advice on saying, hey, do this or this, and I think we could get it. If you could accomplish this in 30 days, then I say we try again.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. Very good. Another question. Someone is saying, hey, Tamara, what is the salary range which is considered low to moderate income for this program?
Okay, and so when you go look at the location of the areas on that map, when you Google map of USDA, they will also have in there exactly the guidelines for each and every county that's in there. But I find typically I'm looking for people 83,000 and under. Now, when I actually have them on the phone, I'm doing the full calculation. How many children do you have? How many adults do you have? Who's going to be living in the home? What county are you wanting to be in? And then I'm doing the actual calculation for that particular county. And you can also take a look at that by going to that map section, and then one of the buttons says income. So it'll let you take a look at that as well for your location, your specific area in Georgia.
Good, good, good. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Someone have a question here, and I'm going to read it exactly how they have asked here. It says, Tamara, if you can't get someone to put you on as an authorized user, what are your thoughts on purchasing a trade line from a company?
So I know what you were talking about. Those are there, and I'll tell you, I've seen great success with those. I know Experian is doing it, and I typically get higher credit scores on certain individuals from Experian because they're adding trade lines to their Experian account. But you have to keep in mind when I say 640, so the score you see on the screen, 640, that means that 2 of the 3 are 640 or higher. So I'm not going to tell you it doesn't work. I've seen it work all day long. I saw one today that worked on that, where I got an Experian that was much higher, and then luckily the TransUnion came right in at 641, so we made it. And I knew that the Experian was ranking higher because they had 4 things on there being reported. So yes, it will help you if you cannot get that. What seems to take the longest, and I hear this advice all the time, is go get a secure card. Yeah, if you can't get a regular credit card and you got to start with a secure card, there's nothing wrong with that. But keep in mind, there's no credit history with that card, right? It's not even a month old. So it's going to take time, a lot of time. Typically, I find 12 months to 2 years on something like that. So racing out to get that secured card is not necessarily the answer either.
Good, good, good. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let's do this. Let's do our next slide then.
Yeah, let's kind of go through these items because these are just some questions that I get all the time, and I thought it'd be kind of good to throw these up there for you. They're like little one-off things, and one of the things you're gonna like a lot, and I know it's already, you're looking at it and you're saying, wait for her to get to that point, wait for her to get, but so to keep you focused with me, I'm gonna go straight to it, which is debt ratio. Yes, we are 2941. What does that mean? That means that the house cannot be more than 29% of their income. Okay, that's the max. It's not 29 and a half, not 30, not 29.9, 29. And then the house with all their bills, that's going to be car, credit cards, student loans, payday loans, which I encourage everybody to stop doing that, is going to be 41% of their income. And these aren't negotiable. Where my VA, I closed 2 customers last week with 64% debt ratios. VA does not have a debt ratio. So we're going to close it if it gets approved. FHA, no, I know you heard 45%, but that's not accurate. This week, actually tomorrow, I'm closing one at 56%. If FHA approves it, we're going to do it. Where USDA, no, 2941. So why would somebody change from USDA to FHA? Well, maybe they have a 56, 57% debt ratio. Maybe they're a veteran and they have a 64% debt ratio because we can't use the spouse because they have a 550 credit score. We're still going to get that loan closed for you and make it happen. Might be a little bumpy, but we're going to get it done and make it happy, and they're going to have their home. Now, there are some exceptions to this debt ratio. As you can see here, 680, we can get an exception, 3244. But we're going to need to get an approval. So we still need an approval, but I have seen the approvals come across when we are 680 or higher because the borrower is stronger. They're a much stronger borrower. And I know the tricks to get that approved. So we will do those tricks that we need to do. You can only own one USDA home at a time. That's what we're going to be able to do. Not 2, not 3, 1. Now, I do get calls sometimes where, hey, I have a house that's rented. I'm not going into all the lengths of going through this process, but there is a 5 things that could make them be allowed to buy a USDA home, and I have to go through that with them, all 5 of them, and they have to meet 4 of the 5. So we'll do that if you come across one of those situations. So just because they own one, don't think they can't do it. We need to go through the process with them and find out if they could. Okay, what do I mean by producing properties? What I mean is it's got cows and it's a cow farm. Okay, no, we're not doing cow farms. That's income producing. You know, that's not going to be the case. It's a winery. No, it's income producing. One of the tricks that you have to keep in mind is there will be a water analysis. And I say this, and a lot of people are in Atlanta, what in the world is she talking about? But when you head into these outlying areas, even like McDonough, those people are on wells more than they're on septics. And so it sounds daunting. It's not daunting. Those listing agents are well aware we're going to need this. They know it because they sell in that area. This is not daunting to them, okay? 30-year economic life. Hey, Tamara, I found a property, looks like it's going to fall over, but I'm going to fix it up. No, because with USDA, it has to have a 30-year shelf life. If it doesn't have a 30-year shelf life, USDA is not going to let that close. That's going to be your conventional Fannie Freddie, let them fix it up, and then we can do something with that after. Now, the next one's really important, especially now. We're going to pull credit, and my credit report is good for 120 days. Why do I say that? Because how many times do we hear my credit went up, my credit went down, my credit went up, my credit went down? So as long as I have the 640 there, they find a home and they close, I'm going to use that report. So even if their score went down a little bit, that is not a concern to me as long as I can close and fund in that 120 days. I do not pull a new one. I do an update to make sure they didn't get any new debt, that they didn't go somewhere and buy something even though I told them not to. That will be done, but the credit report with the score that we lock in is good for 120 days, okay? Now you find a home, maybe it's not run down, but something's wrong with it. Hey, Tamara, oh my gosh, we found blah, blah, blah. Really? That's awful. How horrible. We can do up to 10%. If it's more than 10%, it's not closing. Sellers have to fix it, do the repairs, and then we'll close. USDA does not permit more than 10%. This question I'm getting a ton, especially during COVID right now. Stable, dependable income. That means they've been at their job, they can show a 2-year history, where they've worked, etc. Now, if they change jobs, that's okay. I'm going to need 1 pay stub before we close. So I always remind them, hey, I know you're thinking about changing a job. Don't change before we close. Let's go ahead and keep this job and not change before we close. So as we can see, they do have some quirks to them, but overall, what is the benefit? 100% financing. You're not worried about where are they getting their money. Sellers in these areas, they know they're going to pay closing costs. I very rarely get these without them paying closing costs. Very, very rare. Because a lot of times the properties aren't moving at the pace that some other areas are moving. So they're aware that they're going to pay. And the listing agent has set them up that they're going to pay for some closing costs, especially if it's a USDA coming through. So I figured we don't have much time left. I think we only have 5-10 minutes here. So it's a good time to ask any questions. This is my last slide. As you can, my number to reach me, 770-896-5001. But I do want to get any questions answered that you may have. Again, 770-896-5001. Luther, we got some questions?
Yes, question. Somebody says here, Tamara, what program would you recommend for someone with a bankruptcy within 1 year of discharge and a 700 credit score?
That's a great question. I don't recommend one. They really need to do their 2-year time period after their 2 years. So to get an FHA approval without it being a manual underwrite, meaning a person's going to approve it, it has to be 2 years to the next month. So if they are July 13th, then we run it August 1st, and then it will issue an approval. But if it's in the same month, so you're asking me to run it July 14th at the 2-year mark, it will not issue an approval. But that's a great question, 2 years.
And let me say this too. Listen, Tamara have a lot of different programs. So this particular program maybe not, but I think you have to contact Tamara because listen, there's a lot that's a part of this question that I would have, and I'm not even a mortgage person. Listen, how much money does this person have? How much cash does this person have? How much other assets does this person have? Does this person have another home to sell? Listen, you can sell a home and purchase another home, right? So as a real estate agent, you're asking, all right, what if this person have a bankruptcy? Bankruptcy is one part and a very, very small part of the big picture. I have had a lot of clients buy homes with the bankruptcy within 1 year. Okay? You got to look at the whole picture, not just this one small picture. Tamara have a lot of programs. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat. So my answer to this question is, hey, I got to look at this person and ask a whole bunch of questions and look at the full picture rather than this one small area of, hey, this person have a bankruptcy. All right? Another question here, and I think I know the answer, but hey, I'm going to let Tamara answer this one. Somebody saying, hey, Tamara, is there any way that we can purchase multi-family properties with this program?
You're really not gonna, that's an excellent question. I have never had anybody call me for a multifamily in USDA. So not trying not to answer your question. If you text me, I will get that answer for you. But in all my 28 years, nobody has tried to purchase a primary residence in USDA with a multifamily. But if you would like to text me, I will go get it direct from USDA for you.
And I will interject this again, I'm on that same thing, guys. Hey, agent, again, USDA, maybe yay, maybe nay, but
actually the answer is yes. Thank you for your patience. I just went directly to our guideline sheet and we can. So yes.
Yes, they can. And here, hey, listen to this, guys. Listen, as I said, the very last question, there's a lot of programs out there. I was going to say, I'll say this. Tamara have to find the answer for USDA, but I bet you have something that we can own or occupy a multifamily property. I bet you, but that you have a program out there, don't you, Tamara?
Of course, and more often than not, the best route a lot of times is first VA if they're a veteran. That means they're buying. I just closed on one last month, a fourplex at 100%. No down payment. There was so much income in it. Not only did it pay the whole payment, he had an extra $600 a month left over to pay his regular bills or set it aside for the property, and he was living in it rent free. So that's my first step. FHA is only 3.5%. Obviously, I'm going to go there if I need to before I go conventional at 15% on an owner occupied. So it's knowing which steps to take. If it doesn't fit in USDA, I go straight down the list. Hey, are you a veteran? No, we're not. Okay, FHA's next. You don't own any properties in a 100-mile ratio. Here we go. We're going FHA as a primary resident, which my daughter's getting ready to do. So it's perfect.
Now let's talk strategy, guys. Let's talk strategy. Listen, what would I do? What should we do right now to grow our business? We should go to that website, click, and first of all, know the areas for USDA. Then we need to start marketing and advertising for both buyers and listings. Why listings as well? Buyers is pretty straightforward. Contact me right now. There's government programs for 100% financing. So I would say everybody go to that website, click on that link right now. Let's see the areas that qualify. Then I'm going to start focusing those areas for buyers. Buyers, contact me now. I have some special government financing with 100% financing. Contact me right now. Your phone's gonna ring. Great opportunity. Also, let's market for some listings. Hey, listen, you need to contact me right now and let's talk about listing your house. Why? I specialize in this area and there's some government programs with 100% financing, which will allow me and help me to sell your home much quicker because of these programs. So just like Tamara said, Atlanta don't have this program. So inner city Atlanta, they don't have this program. So I'm able to say, hey, this particular area have a special program that it qualifies for with 100% program. So I want to market, prospect, start to advertise now. And I want to say, hey, listen, buyers contact me, 100% financing, but also sellers contact me because this program qualifies for your particular area. Nothing but win, 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 money, money, money. Okay. Somebody says, Tamara, can you still be a first-time home buyer if you've paid off a home and want to buy a new one to live in?
Well, that's a good question. The question is, why are you asking it? So if it has to do with getting down payment assistance, no. If it has to do with going with an FHA loan or a USDA loan, you don't own a home, yes, we're going to go ahead and do FHA and USDA, which are low down payments. We're going to do VA with a low down payment. VA, you can own other homes. FHA, you can own other homes and rental properties as long as they are 100 miles away. So it really will depend. So like Luther said, I'm going to evaluate their situation and put them in the program. If they need the lowest down payment, we'll do the lowest down payment program we can find. It doesn't mean no down payment. It means we're going to find the lowest down payment depending upon what they're doing.
Absolutely. And I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. The other question, and help me with this, Tamara, this person says, hey, this house is paid for. So the house is paid for, but would it make a difference on you know, whose name is on the title?
So if you're asking about USDA in the state of Georgia, if the person on title isn't the person buying the next home, husband, wife, whatever the case may be, in the state of Georgia, then that person doesn't own that home. That it's different than in other areas of the country. And I'm not going to get into all the other areas of the country, although I am doing those. Thank you for your referrals, because my rates are like 2.75 and 2.5 range, 3%. They're amazing for refis as well as purchases right now. But in the state of Georgia, no, they don't own it. They're not on title. Then they still are a first-time home buyer if they're going to get a property on their own. That's why so many investors put 10 homes in the husband's name, 10 homes in the additional spouse's name, because they can do 20 properties here in Georgia and do conventional Fannie Freddies and put them together like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely excellent. Hey, listen, I have a question here that says, "Hey, Luther, please put the link back on the screen." The link is back on the screen there, so the link is back up for everybody.
But the fastest way to get to that link, actually, you do not need to write that down. Go to Google, type the words eligibility map USDA or USDA map. That's even easier. That's what, 7 letters, USDA map. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, then it'll pull up for you. It will be the first thing that pulls up for you. And then you can save it and know it's there, or know that anytime you want to go looking for it, you can. And then that's going to let you look at the income. That's going to let you look at the area as well. And then thanks for putting that back up. You can see my phone number and my email listed there to be able to reach me with these questions or other questions.
Good. So let's do that. Google USDA map. Again, Google USDA map, and let's get that map. Let's get that going. Listen. The next question is for me. Somebody says, "Hey, Luther, listen. With COVID, will this program work? And is now a good time to advertise these type of programs during COVID?" Listen. Let me tell everybody something that have really blown my mind about this whole COVID-19 thing. Back in March at Platinum Real Estate, I had a mandatory broker meeting, and I told all of my agents, when the government was giving away the cash to the businesses, I actually walked all of my agents through how to get that cash. So all of my agents was applying for the cash. Agents was texting me, emailing me saying, "Luther, thank you. I got the cash to help me with my business." And at that time, nobody knew what exactly was going to happen with this whole COVID-19 thing. During that mandatory meeting, I told all of my agents that Governor Kemp here in Georgia made real estate a essential business. And I told my agents, do not stop marketing, do not stop advertising, continue to do business. Now, be smart, wear your mask, right? Be smart, wear your mask, be careful, but continue to do business. And the agents continue to do just that. And the last, 6 months, since March, April, May, June, July, we have basically had better months those months than we've had the last 4 to 5 years. I mean, Platinum Real Estate is growing as far as more agents joining our firm. We are growing as far as agents closing deals. I have agents joining my company now straight out of real estate school, and I'm thinking of one in particular, closing 3-4 deals within their first 90 days being in the business. So for Platinum Real Estate, I won't talk for all real estate companies, but for Platinum Real Estate, not only have COVID been good to us, but from a profit margin, from closings, from the business, it have been absolutely tremendously good for our corporation. So I say that to say, you guys, Platinum agents, you guys that's on the line, I told you back in March, keep doing what you do. And I told everybody, keep growing your business. And it really shows as far as closings, you guys are doing that. And thank God we were doing that, because, we all thought that we were going to shut down for like a month. COVID was going to go away, and then the market was going to just come on back. And obviously that haven't happened. But from a real estate standpoint, Governor Kemp said it was essential, and, we are still doing what we do. And thank God you guys are still marketing and still advertising and still doing what you do. So continue to do that. Continue to market, continue to grow your business. This is another great opportunity. This is another tool in your tool chest to help grow your business. Do it now. Continue.
Well, and Luther, that's a great point. But in addition to that, if you kind of look at it, what are people doing while they're having to work from home? You know, they're stuck at home. So they're getting on Zillow, they're getting on Realtor, they're looking at houses. You have never had a more captive audience than right now. They're not going out to eat. They're not going out to friends. They're staying home and they're getting on the internet. You're never, ever going to get a better opportunity right now to do your marketing and advertising. And, you know, when I'm locking people at 2.5% interest rate or 2.75% interest rate, you know, that's another tool that you have available to you to allow them to afford more or get those payments even lower than you want. I have one person saving $500 a month than what they were paying on rent, and they're buying a $200,000 house. Luther's absolutely correct. Now is the perfect time to be marketing because you have a captive audience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you guys, let's do this. Hey, listen, Tamara, as always, great job. Thank you very, very much. You always do a wonderful job. I always learn something. I know the agents always learn something. A great job, and thank you for your partnership and everything that you do for the community.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your time. Again, 770-896-5001. And I hope everyone stays safe and has a great rest of their year.
Absolutely. And you guys, for me personally, you can contact me, 404-513-5677. That is my personal phone number. Email address, luther@platinumrealestate.com. Personal site, lutherragsdale.com. Corporate site, platinumrealestate.com. Also, career opportunities. We do have career opportunities as well that I've talked about. If you are not a member of Platinum Real Estate, would love to have you with the Platinum Real Estate family. We have one-on-one coaching. We have our 100% plan. We have training just like this every single week. Every Tuesday at 8:30, my agents meet with me to get training, to get instruction, to get direction on what you should do the next 7 days. If you're interested in career opportunities with our company, please contact us, 404-994-4600, or via email, careers@platinumrealestate.com. That's careers@platinumrealestate.com. All right, you guys, thank you very much. It's been a great day. We're going to do this same thing next week. As I used to say when I was a youngster back home, I used to always watch Batman, and they would say same bat time, same bat channel. Well, we're going to do this again, same time next week. Look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much. Stay safe. God bless you. Thank you for your time. Talk to you soon.